Listen to my poem, Building Strength of Mind. In a world with an absentee landlord, to their short-term dwellings, tenants come aboard. Their insatiable appetite to devour or possess makes them hoard all types of junk in the process. The blind gluttony exploits this world as frustration along with helplessness fills the rest into the mold. Wake up, humanity. Simplify your life away from vanity. Become alive, simply listening to the sounds of silence, hugging your inner treasures in defiance. Dancing with inner harmony, refusing to be crushed under heavy junk, where part of humanity has already sunk. Moving away from empty caprice, finding your true inner peace. In sum, make your choices as alert consumers when you buy new ideas or things. You are not milking cows. Study the connections among events that influence you. Know yourself as well as the character traits of those around you. Be aware of the currents. Do not follow trends blindly. Survivors are resilient. Hope exists for those with a flexibility of mind readily making adjustments. Time permitting, you may perhaps want to take a pause, the audiobook now, or come back to it later while reflecting on this poem and also the question. Within the madness of the consumption society, do you refuse to be a milking cow? As a psychologist, I feel fortunate witnessing the blooming of human potential. When people hear their own tune, their life force resonates at a deeper level. To me, these are sages no longer participating in mass hypnosis. Simplify your life. Take your simplicity as your ultimate sophistication. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And listen to the sounds of silence. Narcissism. The tale of Narcissus. The consumer society restlessly tempts people to the next purchase. This addiction to what's next does not allow the present moment to be appreciated. People crave wanting, needing, and getting at any cost the new and improved, the latest, the biggest, and the best. The philosopher said, consumerism is the national religion, and television is its sanctuary. The picture gets more complex when we take into account the issue of narcissism, a universal epidemic. We can replace the term narcissism with self-absorption, egotism, selfishness, self-importance, and arrogance. The tale of Narcissus comes from the Greek mythology. Narcissus, a handsome Greek boy, found himself so attractive that he fell in love with himself. One day, while admiring the reflection of his image in the pond, he became unable to detach himself, wanting to hug his own reflection. All consumed, unable to let go, Narcissus died, drowning unto himself. All that was left in the pond at the end was a yellow flower with white petals in its center, which replaced Narcissus. Narcissists have a strong sense of self-entitlement. The world owes them. They need to be unique. They project overconfidence and the need to admire themselves with ample arrogance, relentless self-promotion, self-centeredness, manipulative behavior, and lack of empathy. The narcissistic slogan is, just think of number one, yourself. In relationships, initially, narcissists can be quite charming and they can fool most people around. In my opinion, it is not smart to be a narcissist. In the long run, those burned by the narcissist may abandon ship and let the narcissist drown in their own reflections, you see. Parents can teach their children the value of empathy and the beauty of giving and sharing rather than manipulating others in the pursuit of taking. I like the motto, users are losers. And the narcissist is a user. Users are losers. Don't forget that. Looking after number one, as well as narcissism, are both promoted by the current trends in society. My mother, Aznavour, in her 90s, a teacher by vocation for so many years, has a sharp take on the way in which 10 Commandments are practiced today. She says that, whereas the initial teachings were against lying and cheating, today some reality shows on television openly encourage just the opposite. Cheat, lie, steal as much as you can. Think only about number one, you. Also, polite talk is considered outdated. So the new and improved message is, don't be a softie. Swear as much as you can, bully, and manipulate others as much as you can. Hollywood, the trendsetter, churns out box office profits with each movie, with at least 5 car chases, 12 killings, 6 car blow-ups, rampant infidelity, cheating, stealing, lying, and all the rest you can think of. The commandments promoted to honor thy father and thy mother. Well, psychiatrists, psychologists, and talk show hosts took care of that one too. The slogan in therapy became, blame your parents as much as you can for your imaginary problems. Poor you. While writing this book, advice came from a friendly critic. An author and a friend alerted me that writing on such heavy issues will make me lose readers. Then, to my delight, I realized there are other voices out there bringing urgent attention to similar issues. Dr. Martin Seligman is an academician, researcher, and past president of American Psychological Association. In his book, Authentic Happiness, he writes about his research findings, pointing out that in every wealthy country on this globe, there is a startling 10 times increase in depression compared to 1960s. What is more disturbing is that depression is now hitting youth at a younger age. According to Dr. Seligman, wealthy nations have created shortcuts to pleasure, such as television, drugs, shopping, loveless sex, self-absorption, and alike. He talks about a generation of narcissists and unwarranted self-esteem. I got a surge of energy reading Authentic Happiness as it reinforced my writing. Psychologists have a lot more to offer than simple damage control. Wellness training, building human potential and strength of character, teaching optimism and resilience are among the tools as well as the goals of psychology. Meanwhile, The main focus of my book is on practical self-help for a more positive, adaptive, and happier life. My nieces keep my perspective alive. Within the spirit of playfulness, I am unable or unwilling to continue unless I share the following 2 real-life moments captured while my nieces were growing up. Talia, my niece, was about 7 years old. This child blended with nature. The two almost became united. Animals drifted towards her. With her benevolent and curious attitude, Talia found all the sick animals in the streets and fields, brought them home to provide shelter and tender loving care. One day, Talia brought a tiny lizard into the apartment and placed it on top of the table in the balcony. She did not want the animal to fall from the 7th floor balcony. With a swift move, Talia took a pair of reading glasses, placed them in front of the tiny lizard, and said to us, "Watch him for a second. I'll be back quickly." Would you believe that? Until Talia returned, her lizard rested there as if hypnotized and dizzy by the glare of the reading glasses. How can I forget such a precious moment? A second light-hearted yet philosophically deep memory is about my then 3-year-old niece, Nari. Nari is a name borrowed from Japanese. I believe it means sounds of thunder. Nari, my niece, and thunder. Pay attention to this fitting coincidence of name selected for this child in the following true story. It was an unusually dark night, with unstable winds and an angry ocean throwing its weight around through tall and frothy waves. All of a sudden, there was a massive stroke of lightning nearby. The whole house lit up. Simultaneously, the voice of my niece filled the house. She was looking at the sky and shouting in great excitement, "Daddy, Daddy, look! God is taking pictures!" To me, these are spiritual moments where the mysteries of the universe reveal themselves in the entities of innocent children. For years, with my nieces around the dinner table, we debated different subjects, choosing serious topics and defending opposing points of views. Some among us played the devil's advocate in order to steer interest in the discussion. I am sure this has helped my nieces to seek information, weigh data, assimilate, and organize their thoughts. They are both good debaters today. They are also quite assertive in their communication styles. Even though the countercurrents are enormous, we will do everything humanly possible to make sure their survival toolbox will contain the 5 vital tools: perspective, optimism, humor, energy, and hope. Perhaps future generations will need a more robust and hands-on set of coping methods in order to counterspin the negative currents of the day. One method is to teach young ones methodical thinking and debating skills. This active teaching will help them resist junk such as the following that is fed as the daily diet to youth today. I present the following quotes for a chuckle. A workshop participant gave them to me. I truly hope that these are rumors and not true statements. It seems that singer Mariah Carey once said, "Whenever I watch TV and see those poor starving kids all over the world, I cannot help but cry. I mean, I would love to be skinny like that, but not with all those flies and death and stuff." Oof. Miss Alabama, in the 1994 Miss Universe contest, answered the following question. If you could live forever, would you, and why? Her answer was, "I would not live forever, because we should not live forever. Because if we were supposed to live forever, then we could live forever. But we cannot live forever, which is why I would not live forever." Oy, 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 what debating skills. Another one. Brooke Shields, during an interview to become spokesperson for a federal anti-smoking campaign, apparently said, "Smoking kills. And if you are killed, you have lost a very important part of your life." Oy, oy, should we laugh or cry faced with such absurdities? If these are simply one-time mistakes of expression, then we can laugh and carry on. We can also hope that these are idle gossip and not real. I hope they are not. However, if these become commonplace nonsense of the supposed role models, then we better take notice as to what noise our youth are being fed. Please, do take the time to discuss such important issues with your friends, family, neighbors, and colleagues, will you? It does take the community to raise children, you know. The ripple effects of attitudes are contagious. My mind goes to the youth in schools who commit suicide due to the influence of bullies who are classmates. The societies we belong to can push drugs and guns to the youth, or push our youth keep a healthy mind and body. Which type of a pusher group would you belong to? No one is immune in a glass bubble or a cocoon. It does take a community. If you do not actively get involved, then tomorrow your child may be in the hands of the drug pushers or bullies. Then what? Please do the following exercise with me. It is called Your Only Time, a survival technique. Close your eyes. Picture the image of an old-fashioned clock. See the arms of your clock move to 3, to 4:30, to 6:45. Imagine hearing the ticking sounds. Tick, 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 tick. And say, whether it is the best of times or the worst of times, it is the only time you've got. Whether it is the best of times or the worst of times, it is the only time you've got. Memorize this. Repeat it as a mantra and mean what you say. Now, get on with your day. This technique brings you down to earth. When you are stuck with should be, ought to be, if only, could have, would have. Whenever you feel self-pity, fear, or anger, bring up the image of the clock. Use the reality check and say with conviction, whether it is the best of times or the worst of times, it is the only time you've got. so deal with it. This motto will train you to stay in the present with the here and now. Was the image of the clock clear? Did you hear the ticking sound of the clock? Look, if you have a slight hesitation in your response, go ahead and practice again. Active participation gets you going. So tell me, are you visual or audiovisual or both? Get to know your abilities. Strengthen your abilities by exercising them. Do this exercise in perception, for instance. Go to your living room. Look around for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Having memorized what there is in that room. Then describe the location of as many items you can remember in that living room, including details such as their size, color, exact location. You know, you can repeat this exercise, taking the time it takes really to memorize, to know where is what and the color and the size, and then you close your eyes and you talk to yourself, naming as many objects as you can remember. You know, find exercises, and there are so many in the internet, to develop your audio and visual abilities. Practice them for a few minutes daily. Reading a book or listening to a book on weight loss does not make you slim. Changing your eating habits do. Buying a club membership and fine aerobic clothing does not make you fit. Exercising does. Paying others to play tennis does not make you a tennis player. Sweating on the court does. How about if you kick yourself in the butt? A concert pianist friend of mine, experiencing jitters and panic prior to giving a recital, would say, "Kick yourself in the butt and get going." Now, it's your turn. When faced with situations where you feel anxiety and panic, you could say, what would you say? Try out your choice of a self-motivating command that you can use for the next week. See if it works. If it's not effective, no problem. Try a different command. It's important to use the same command for a period of time. Remember that. Use repetition of the same command to condition your automatic responses. Similarly, actors have many practice sessions before their performance appears easy, making the end result seem so natural. Now, you are the actor. This world is your stage. Your life is meant to prepare you for your command performance. Give it all you've got. Consider this. Picture yourself in your 80s, and you are asked to share your wisdom with the younger generation. If you had a second chance in life, what would you do differently? You know what? Whenever necessary, take a pause and think about this. It's worthwhile taking the pause and thinking about those questions, okay? Now, what would you like to be written on your gravestone? Most of the time, do you see yourself as initiating or reacting to events? If you are a reactor, do you find yourself being critical and perhaps envious of the ones who are initiators? Someone said, in life there are mainly 3 types of people. The first takes charge of his life, Life takes charge of the second. The third asks himself, life? What life? Which type will you be? Most often, do you feel that you are taking charge of your life, or does life take charge of you? You are a winner, taking charge of your life, yes? Then bring your own fair share to this world and carry some responsibility in creating momentum and paving the road for you and others. Get actively involved in a wellness project. What is your wellness project? Do you have one? Do you care? Okay, look, we are here on this earth and intend to stay for a while, right? Who needs to be a passive bystander, going through the motions of living? We are always members of multiple teams, which are in the larger picture make up one, such as family, community, country, the world. If we are all willing to share membership in the team, then each of us can take some of the weight and let the other take a breather. This is similar to the pack of migrating birds, where they take turns to pave the way, allowing the first one in the pack take a breather. A self-empowerment book like this invites you to build strengths, which can have positive ripple effects beyond yourself. Think big, think global, think of the whole of humanity as one. Part 8. Target. Reducing stress. Everyone talks about stress. Most often, scientists, media, and merchants of goods make us believe that we miss the target on stress management. Some offer a quick fix. Surviving in a world with continued changes, to learn from the wisdom of the past. Who has the time? Turn the page, continue, and don't stop. As a psychologist, increasingly I hear complaints about panic and claustrophobia. People need psychological space. They feel powerless. They need oxygen. This statement was as true in 2005 when I talked about taking preventative measures. Prevention is easier than intervention. Now, we are in 2012. Economic, social, and psychological restlessness is even more obvious in the population. There is massive anxiety in the air. You and I know life is tough. At the same time, we are expected to stay calm and look poised. So, on the surface, we appear calm, but we have to pedal like mad to keep afloat. Sometimes I feel like saying, how can I find my inner calm when I cannot even find my car keys? Give me a break. Even when we are quietly going through the day, minding our business, do you think we are left in peace? Thanks to the television and the newspapers, everything becomes a major problem, a catastrophe. Harsh images are spread in front of our eyes with often dramatic effects. As if our awareness of difficult world events was not enough, we are forced to voyeurism through a flood of social media. A daily diet of tensions, lived or perceived, can weaken our nerves. Even professionals in the health field are guilty. Instead of focusing on the strengths of the human being, health professionals often highlight weaknesses. Constantly, we are reminded about how stressed we are. Oh, well, that which creates fear sells. Selling fear is big business. The unwise reacts first before taking the time to think. Do you react or overreact? How do you behave in tense situations? Do you care to know? Well, you should care and also take measures if you want goodbye stress, hello success to become your chosen path. The following are examples of reactions to stressful situations. Pretend you are living through them now as you are listening to the following. On the road. You are driving your car, and all of a sudden someone inconsiderate cuts you off. Personally, if I don't control myself, I know I will become aggressive. I will blow my horn, I'll try to cut the other off myself, perhaps I'll be making gestures or shout, "Are you crazy?" Look at yourself in the reality mirror. What are your reactions? Are you in control? Know yourself. Another one. Picture this situation on getting parking tickets. Time is up. You receive a ticket. So, you tear the ticket? You kick the parkometer? Curse and shout? Feel like you are the underdog? All these and more? Or you say, well, you win some and you lose some, that's life. Stop here, take a few minutes and think about your anger buttons. Who usually pushes your anger buttons? What situations usually get you angry? How do you usually react? These are the questions you would definitely want to answer. And then find YouTube videos on relaxation, anger management, interpersonal relations, and the like. Watch my YouTube videos on anger in Dr. Louise Aznavour channel. Blow off steam by running, joining rigorous workout classes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Say to yourself, easy does it, cool it. Study your angry thoughts. Get objective opinions on how others perceive you. Take an appointment with me or someone you know who can give you objective opinions and guide you as a coach. You need to learn ways to cope. Keep it simple. Easy does it. Breathe. Detach yourself. Daily, take 4 minutes at the office and at home. Listen to my YouTube video titled 19 Positive and Upbeat Quotes. Say to yourself, soften your thoughts. Keep it simple. Easy does it. Breathe. Detach. Turn your volume down. Lower the heat. Chill out. Cool, calm, collected. Keep your anger buttons switched off. You do like to keep your house fresh and clean. You make sure the garbage is taken out. In a computer, you delete unnecessary files. Well, it is just the same with the mind. You want to keep your mind free of garbage. So, get rid of garbage. Out of your mind. Getting rid of unnecessary weight you make yourself carry. Ease the pounding of your heart by the quieting of your mind. Heard at the doctor's office. Doctor, doctor, I have a ringing in my ears. Doctor says, don't answer. Now, I want to introduce to you the thought-stopping technique. To control obsessive thoughts and images that poison your day, use the thought-stopping technique as an antidote. It is a simple yet an effective technique used often in cognitive behavior therapy. This does not mean that difficult thoughts and feelings ought to be ignored. You see, obsessive thinking is not helpful for problem solving. Once you keep your thoughts and emotions under check, then you look for solutions to problems. I will demonstrate to you the dramatic effect of thought-stopping technique. I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath and relax. Breathing deeply and regularly. Deeply and regularly. Now, imagine that you are walking towards the fridge. Open the door of the fridge and take out that beautiful, bright yellow lemon. And cut this lemon with your knife. Now, take a big bite out of this lemon. Start chewing. Chew it. Feel how juicy the lemon is. Stop! What happened to the image of lemon at the command of stop? Uh-oh, usually it disappears. Did you have the sour taste of the lemon while chewing it? Usually people make a face imagining the sour taste of a lemon. Was there increased saliva during the experiment? Majority of people say yes. Next, let me explain the science behind the technique. Does the name Ivan Pavlov ring a bell? Pavlov, a scientist, during a research experiment, did in fact ring a bell each time he fed the dog. The dog salivated. After several trials, Pavlov just rang the bell without giving any food to the dog. Still, the dog salivated, even when there was no food. Pavlov concluded that the dog learned to associate the ringing of the bell with food. Now, here is the catch. Similar to Pavlov's dogs, we humans too salivate simply by the visual image of the food. Remember the food and drink ads on TV? Watching advertisements related to food, notice how unintentionally you salivate. This is precisely the effect advertisers want to create. Their goal is to make you remember memories related to eating. At this point, the innocents among us usually drift toward the refrigerator, whether hungry or not. Similarly, people salivate and make a face imagining the sour taste of a lemon. Yet, where is the lemon? A virtual image of a lemon created real physical reactions. Moreover, using the thought-stopping technique, a simple command stopped the imagination process. The thought-stopping technique gets rid of obsessive thoughts and images. We can say that this technique gets rid of lemons of your system, if you will. I also ask participants to imagine a stop sign. Adding a visual image impacts the stop command further. Step-by-step practice thought-stopping technique. While practicing the thought-stopping technique, do the following. Decide to get rid of the image or thought. Yes, this is a deliberate decision. Order yourself silently or loudly to stop. Simultaneously, if you can, bang your wrist at the table. Or make a loud clapping sound with your hands. Or if you are in a group and you cannot do these above, what you can do is you can pinch your wrist. You can use an elastic band around your wrist, pulling it tight and then letting it go. Or sink your nails into your palm. Create a pain. You are punishing the thoughts, you see. Be creative. Add your own tricks to the technique. As the negative image disappears, take a deep breath and say, relax softly while you exhale. Fill the resulting void, emptiness, with a positive image. Here are suggestions for positive images. Sound of waves gently rolling over the rocks near the seashore. Seagulls flying merrily over the sand. Soothing sensations of taking a massage. Relaxing in a bubble bath. Bubble, 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 bubble. Walking peacefully in a forest. Feeling the fresh breeze on your face.